Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff. Those are two names that I did not think I would be saying today, but here we are. It looks like WWE is looking to kind of turn the ship around, change things a little bit before they go down like the Titanic, because things are not looking too good right now. But at least they're trying to change. How much they actually will change, well, that's up in the air. The news broke via Sports Illustrated today that Paul Heyman will be taking over for Monday Night Raw creative, while Eric Bischoff will be taking over for SmackDown. But as we all know, that could very well change in just a couple of days after they get creative control as wildcard rule. All jokes aside, this is a very big deal. It might not seem like it right now as things aren't going right into motion as we speak. From what I read, it's actually going to take a little bit of time for both of them to get into their positions and kind of move forward with whatever they have planned. And the fact that they still have to go through Vince McMahon, which is like the biggest buzzkill that they could have possibly thrown onto us, was when I was reading this article from Sports Illustrated and I was reading more information and it said, Vince McMahon still approves everything. But the idea of creative getting switched up pretty hardcore within the next couple of months here, especially with the big switch to Fox and everything, is it's pretty interesting, to be honest. Now with Eric Bischoff, I'm not exactly too sure why they decided to pick him. Maybe the podcast he's doing or whatever the case may be with that. I mean, Eric did have that little run in TNA, and while there was some good things about TNA in that period, I think a lot of people don't look back on it very fondly, I guess is the word I want to use here. While Paul Heyman, on the other hand, everyone's kind of been begging him to book anything. There was a time period back in the day where Dixie Carter and Paul Heyman were actually about to come to terms Paul Heyman to take over creative for TNA, but Paul's demands were a little too much for Dixie Carter, and of course that broke the whole thing away. If you guys remember, Paul Heyman actually went onto a podcast and talked about the demands that he wanted, or not so much the demands, I guess, more so the way he would have taken it creatively. His idea basically was to take all the old people and shove them somewhere else. His idea really was to take one legend, whether that be Kurt Angle or Sting or whoever they wanted at the time, and kind of build a program around them, and then just have young, up-and-coming, hungry dudes just kind of fighting it out and doing it big. He actually said that it's funny if you go back and listen to this, thinking, hindsight's 2020 and all that, and it's crazy because Paul Heyman, if you listen to a lot of the stuff Paul Heyman says, he's usually right about a lot of things. I mean, obviously, the things that he's wrong about we don't bring up too often, but he wanted to push Daniel Bryan in TNA at that time. So when it comes to Paul Heyman and it comes to Monday Night Raw, I'm not very surprised that they wanted him on Monday Night Raw. Raw is still their flagship show. Like in Vince McMahon's eyes, Monday Night Raw is still the show. Yes, SmackDown might be going to Fox. Yes, that's a very big deal for WWE, especially when it comes to their TV deals. But at the end of the day, Monday Night Raw is Vince McMahon's baby. SmackDown's sort of the redheaded stepchild, which is weird because I think one of the biggest creative periods that Paul Heyman is mostly known for, other than, of course, running ECW, he ran the SmackDown 6 era SmackDown, which was Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, Edge, Chavo Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero, and Rey Mysterio. The idea was to essentially build an entire program around these 6 people because SmackDown was so deprived at that time that Paul Heyman pretty much had to do whatever he could do with the people he had, and he decided that he's going to take these 6 guys, he's going to build the entire show around them. Every division, all of them. If you realize during that time period, they all circled around pretty much every division, whether that be the tag division, the heavyweight division. They kind of cycled in and out of those divisions throughout that year or two. It wasn't a very long time, but it's a very memorable time in SmackDown history. The only other time that I can really keep in my mind for SmackDown that kind of compares to the SmackDown 6 era would be 2016 SmackDown, where Ryan Ward was really helping out. That was a really good time. That was during the James Ellsworth, AJ Styles, and Dean Ambrose stuff. That was a fantastic time in SmackDown history, but that's just a whole nother point aside because Paul Heyman is bringing something to the table that hopefully will change the way Raw is right now. No way you look at it, 3 hours of Monday Night Raw is still hell to book, and especially when you still have to take it to the man himself, Vince McMahon. All I gotta say to Paul Heyman and whoever he decides to pick up for his staff, whether that's Gabe Sapolsky from Evolve or whoever he decides to put onto the writing staff, Godspeed. Because I'm be honest with you, it's still going to be incredibly difficult. I don't think there's any way you can cut it where booking 3 hours of television every single week isn't damn near impossible. It didn't work for WCW, and now WWE is in a nosedive. I'm just saying, maybe wrestling isn't supposed to be 3 hours every week. I guess we'll see once Paul Heyman takes over. I think they probably think that Heyman is probably going to bring something more creatively to the table, so that's probably why they put him on Monday Night Raw, because otherwise Heyman's got, you know, history with SmackDown. I would have put him on SmackDown, but obviously they think that he would be the better fit for Raw, and maybe he can help him with the whole 3-hour issue they're really having, and creative issues in general. One of Heyman's biggest traits is that he can take somebody who isn't maybe the greatest wrestler in the world, and he can still make them a fantastic part of the show. I mean, we've seen him do it hundreds of times before, especially with ECW. I'm honestly just very shocked that they did anything at all. Because to me, it kind of seemed like Vince McMahon was just like kind of going AWOL. He was just kind of like, whatever, I'm doing what I want, and I'm gonna go do this XFL thing and whatever. But it looks like he wants to change things up a little bit. I don't know if maybe he'll back off a little bit when the XFL comes out. You know, he's not gonna, I doubt, you know, you can go up to Vince McMahon like, Vince, listen up, man. So are you gonna leave? And I'm sure he would not say a word to you, because it's impossible. You can't even talk to the dude in the first place, let alone ask him if he's going to step away from his damn child. I'm just kind of glad to see that something is changing. I haven't watched weekly WWE television in quite a bit of time, but I would be lying here if I said that I wasn't kind of interested in seeing how things kind of play out with Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman. Like, I don't know if they're going to be on-screen talent or where the case may be. I think that's where Eric Bischoff really does shine, honestly. I think that he's a fantastic on-screen talent, especially as general manager. He has a ton of just super memorable moments, even from TNA. I mean, every company he's ever been in, WCW, WWE, TNA. I mean, just his on-screen stuff was definitely like pretty good. He just has such a hateable face. I don't know what it is about this dude, but his demeanor, he is just born to be booed. And Paul Heyman just has street cred, you know what I mean? Like, if they were really going for something crazy, they could put him on TV and like he could tell the crowd like, this is a good match. It could be the worst match ever. This is a good match, and everybody'd be like, you know what? Maybe he's right. But whatever the case may be, Raw and SmackDown, WWE in general, just very stagnant right now, and they definitely needed this twist. They needed a shot in the arm, and I feel like this could be it. We'll have to see. Going through Vince and everything is still going to be one hill that they might not be able to climb. Good luck. Anyways, if you guys want to tell me down in the comments below what you think about the situation at hand here with Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff, I'd love to hear your side of things. You know, do you think things are going to change in the WWE, or is it just going to be the same old all the way into the ground? Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, if you did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you guys are not subscribed, and more of that goody, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya!